Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nerd Break, the podcast where we take a break from life and nerd out about our favorite things. I'm your host, Joseph, and this week I'm joined by one of my best friends in the whole world, Zoms.
Hey, it's me.
Yes, it's you, Zoms. You're here. Unfortunately, though, Moxie is not with us this week. She should hopefully be back next week. She's just a little bit under the weather. If anyone would like to send her well wishes, please remember that you can send all of us lovely letters at nerdbreakpodcast@gmail.com. Drop us a line and we may read yours in the next podcast. But how are you doing this week, Zoms?
Super.
Super. Well, I'm doing okay myself too. Let's go ahead and get started with what you've been playing, reading, watching this week. How about that, Zoms?
Sounds fantastic. How about Pikmin 3 Deluxe on the Switch?
Yes. You actually got that a couple of days before I did. How are you enjoying it, Zoms?
I love it. It takes up so much of my time that I forget to do other things, such as read a book, pay some bills, eat. But
Well,
it's great.
two of those at least don't sound so good. The paying bills and the eating part there. I mean, are you not getting a fresh supply of brains lately, Zoms?
Why does everybody say that? I just, I had some over here in California. Uh, carne asada tacos. They were delicious.
Well, that's great. You'll have to forgive me as I don't know what's on a carne. Did you say asada?
Yes, it's
What?
meat.
Oh, is it flavored a special way? Then I assume.
Oh yes, it's amazing.
Okay, then. Before we start on the podcast, you were telling me how far you had gotten on Pikmin 3.
Day 12, I believe. What about you? How far did you get?
Well, I just got my copy in the mail today because I ordered it day of release as opposed to pre-ordering it. So I've not actually gotten further than the demo at the moment. I tried to play a little bit before the podcast. I was playing day 4, but what I remembered as being a relatively easy game wound up causing me some confusion and aggravation. So I quit out of the game in order to not only join you, Zoms, for this wonderful podcast, but also to go and restart that day later on. Hopefully, after this podcast, I'll restart it and give it a better go.
One of the things about Pikmin that I thought was pretty neat, I know we had talked about it, was the demo. If you had downloaded the demo, and we were playing it before, and I noticed that when I had played the full game, it had mentioned that it would save or it had information previously, and I pretty much just picked up in the game where the demo left off, and I thought that was pretty neat. Um, do you know if I still have to go and delete the demo?
You will have to delete the file for the demo, not the save file. The save file is separate.
Okay.
But
Um,
actually, yeah, that brings up a good point. Playing through the demo and beating it, you got a few extra missions unlocked, I saw when I changed mine over, as well as the spicy mode. Did you happen to give the spicy mode a try yet?
no.
No. It's okay. We'll get there eventually. Because I'm
I
curious.
I just kept up on the story mode, and then I did do the side missions with Olimar.
Okay. Oh, you
Olimar and
actually
Louis.
got some of those unlocked?
Yeah, actually, I did like I think I did all of them actually. because I can only go so far. I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 missions, something like that, and they're timed. So you have so long to do it and complete it, and you have to get you get scored, and you have to get a specific score before you can unlock the next mission.
Do you remember when you unlocked the Olimar missions? How far you had to
Uh,
play?
on on what day specifically, I do not,
Okay.
but it is after you. Maybe this is a spoiler, but after you locate Captain Charles in the game, because when you do play the demo, you start off as Elf. Was that his name? And
Mhm.
you find Brittany, and then and then you're trying to find the captain.
Right, and I have not done that yet. So, what do you think? Because I personally I played the original game on the Wii U, so none of this is really new territory for me. But for you, this is the first time you've played it. What do you think of being able to control three captains?
Um, I honestly I feel like I'm working in a warehouse or something like that because I have everybody doing their own little things. And actually, when you do play the side stories with Olimar, you really have to if you want that platinum medal, you have to uh, divide up the task between the two. And while one's doing something, you got to have the other one doing. You just got to keep moving, and it's pretty hectic, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would agree. When I was playing on day 4, I had heard about previously if you send one of the characters to an onion, they will just start automatically picking Pikmin there, which I don't think was in the original release. So I sent Brittany back to the yellow onion, and lo and behold, when I switched back over to her, I found that she had picked almost all the yellow Pikmin, and she was actually in the process, and that was a pleasant surprise, to be honest. I was glad for that because that's what I was going to do anyways.
Yeah, it's just little things like that that you can do, and it really saves time. And yeah, I think I can't wait for us to play together in the duo, or yeah, the duo mode, and I'll put you to work.
Oh, that sounds really good there. Honestly, I'm right there with you though, because seeing that two-player mode there right when you start the game, it makes me want to have somebody here playing with me, honestly. So at some point in time, you and me, we're going to have to get together. We're going to have to bridge the gap and sit down and play Pikmin 3. If
Especially
anybody
with
out
fighting the bosses.
Yes. If anybody out there has not bought Pikmin 3 or is on the fence about buying it, playing it, for one, give the demo a try. Of course, it's absolutely free. But for another, Nerd Break highly recommends Pikmin 3. It gets our seal of Nerd Break approval.
Hell yeah.
You also, though, have gone hands on with Watchdogs Legion.
Yes, when I was finally able to pull away from Pikmin, I did play that on my PC. Um, while it was loading, I was playing some League of Legends. That was a lot of fun too. Always fun to play League. But Watch Dogs came in and I played it, and it was pretty neat right away. I'm gonna say you play as this. It's in England, the MI6, I believe. It's like the CIA, as this one character, but he's a hacker, and it's pretty cool. You start off like like stealth missions and stuff like that. So I did have some experience already with Assassin's Creed, but going through sneaking around and taking people out from behind. and then you get into some gunfights and stuff like that. Um, it was actually kind of hard, especially on PC, because like the controller, you have it in your hand, and I don't know, just some people do really good with PC, so maybe it's just me. Driving was really difficult on the PC. It just seems like the slightest tap and your character goes off. I didn't like how when I was driving though, and if you're I don't know, I wasn't even too close to somebody and they like freak out and jump out of the way and I'm like, what are they doing? Like I'm nowhere near you.
Maybe that little NPC was a transplant from Grand Theft Auto that survived.
That's what I got the vibe from was Grand Theft Auto. It was pretty cool. You also the fighting hand to hand combat is a lot of fun too. I can't wait to get back in and do some more of that. And you also get tech gear, like you can get the tiny spider, and you go around and you can actually use it to knock people out and stuff like that. The little remote control spider, it can get into places that human body can't because it's so small. And I even got the stealth gear, so I go invisible for a short time.
So overall, what do you think of it? Or is it something that you're going to continue to play, or do you think that Pikmin 3 is better?
Comparing the two is so different, or so difficult. Because Pikmin is a lot like I want to say almost like a puzzle game, whereas this one is like a free roam. Unfortunately, in Watchdogs Legions, it this one you're supposed to play online with people, but it wasn't available yet. It won't be available, it told me, until December. So I was kind of bummed about that. But playing through the story mode, the campaign, was still pretty fun. It had my interest. The graphics are really good. What you had to do, like the storyline so far seems pretty good. You're stopping these people, like these terrorist group, and I can't wait to play more. Same thing with Pikmin. I don't think you can really compare the two, though.
Well, that was just my little way of seeing what you would think.
I
You,
see.
you're,
Putting stress on my life, having to decide, kind of like how you and Moxie do when you ask me which is my favorite waifu. And I do have a list, but that list will not be named. If you'd like to find out, maybe you can convince me. Send me a letter on the podcast, and we'll see.
there you go. If anybody wants Zom's secret waifu list to be revealed, send that letter to nerdbreakpodcast@gmail.com. We're going to plug that to death. Real quick, I guess I'll talk a little bit about what I've been playing before we
Yes,
go
please.
into the last thing that you've been playing. I actually, the last week, got in two titles from Limited Run Games. For anybody that does not know what Limited Run is, for one, let me say this is not sponsored, but Limited Run is a company that produces games on a physical format, such as Switch games, PlayStation Vita games, and PS4 games. They've also branched into Xbox games just recently a little, but the games that they put out are usually games that are digital only, obviously, that would not otherwise get a physical release. The two games that I got in are Mighty Switch Force Collection and Vitamin Connection. Now, I can say right off the bat, Mighty Switch Force Collection is a collection of games that was originally primarily released on the 3DS. There is the Mighty Switch Force Academy that was included in this collection that I don't know where it was originally released at, but I've played through these games before. So it's nothing new for me. I personally like them. They're puzzle platforming games where you go around, you play as an officer, and you're trying to collect the bad girls that escaped from the police wagon, and you do
Did you say
that.
Bad Girls?
Yes, they're literally girls that are in jail attire. So I don't know how to put it. Bad women, women from jail. The entire cast is female, save for the male robot. Okay, don't judge.
Interesting. I'm judging in my favor. I think I would like to give this game a try already.
But anyways, the main mechanic of the game is your ability to switch objects in and out of the background, from background to the foreground. So on the 3DS, you had the 3D effect of seeing these objects in the background and then popping into the foreground when you did that switch mechanic. And there's a lot of platforming to it. It's none of it is extremely hard, but some of it does make you think at times. I would recommend this game to anyone that loves 2D platformers, in particular anyone that likes that little bit of mix of puzzle in with their platforming. None of it is like high speed. There is a timer to it though. That's just for high scores. But if you like that, then look into Mighty Switch Force Collection. Obviously, getting the physical version, you'd have to buy it from a scalper because it's not available anymore through limited run. But the digital version's out there. Next, I got in the physical copy of Vitamin Connection, which again I did not get to spend a lot of time with, but it has a two-player mode where each person controls a different aspect of the little pill ship that you fly around as. And the basic idea is you are these two characters, Vita Boy and Mina Girl, that are microscopic and they're in little pills that that this family feeds to each other to cure themselves of diseases. And you fly in the ship in the person's body and you take and zap the viruses and you try to navigate by turning the ship. It's really interesting, and the game itself gives off kind of a Saturday morning cartoon vibe with the animated cutscenes, which was really neat for me because I wasn't expecting it. So again, this one I would sort of recommend. I can't give you a really good impression though right now because again, I just did not get to spend a lot of time with it, unfortunately. But
It does sound pretty interesting, though. I think I would. Uh, you got to definitely let me know how it is, because I may
yeah,
consider looking into that one as well.
I will as I play more of it. To give a basic idea of how I am thinking right now, the Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic with the cutscenes is a big selling point for me, but the gameplay kinda is a little lackluster. So
Hmm.
it's a little hard for me to recommend right off the bat right now.
What about the this multiplayer thing that we've kind of been running into the issue recently with a couple games, specifically on Switch, is it's local play only, not online play, which is for certain things has been kind of like a bummer. You and I, we would play Smash Brothers online, and that's cool, but certain games, it is, you can play with another Switch, but it's got to be locally, and that kind of sucks to me.
Yeah, it really does, and Vitamin Connection only has local play. It does not have online play, which is
Dang it.
yeah, it's not good, but because one person holds a Joy-Con one way and the other person holds a Joy-Con the other way, I can kind of understand. So,
I don't understand it at all. I just want to play with my friends.
sorry, Zoms, but that's the way a cookie crumbles.
Damn cookie. I'll eat that cookie.
Well, for the last thing that we've both been playing lately, we both have gone hands on with the demo for Hyrule Warriors. And we decided to have a little bit of a debate here because we have slightly opposing opinions. Zoms, would you like to kick it off?
Oh, okay. I get where you're going with this. But yes, I got the free demo. I did play it. This was my first Hyrule Warriors game. I did not play the other one. But this is the prequel to Breath of the Wild. So it kind of answers some questions. I think we had talked about it. We pretty much got from the gameplay to and the story mode. So between those two, it was cool for the story mode, but right away when I was playing the game and in the first section, like you're thrown into battle right away, and a massive amount of enemies that you do see in Breath of the Wild. Um, and it was just a whole bunch of swinging your sword and stuff like that. I did figure out combos, and I did figure out that certain enemies were weak against certain things. I thought one of the elements was pretty cool that like if you're running like through streams and stuff like that and your enemies are standing in it, you use the electricity and it messes them up like pretty badly. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, but other than that, I found myself getting bored of it. I felt like I was playing Dynasty Warriors all over again. That whole line. I remember getting those games, and it was cool at first, but then it didn't take very long for me to get bored with the game. And then the next Dynasty Warriors, when that came out, it looked cool, and I got it. But again, I found myself like, oh, I think I wasted money on this. And I feel like that's what's happening again with this specific Hyrule Warriors.
Okay. Now, see, I have not played as many Warriors games. I played Hyrule Warriors, the original one, on the Wii U, and then I bought the definitive edition for the Switch, which I have not completed. I will say that right here. No, I have not completed that for that second time. I also have bought Fire Emblem Warriors for the Switch, and that game I did not enjoy as much, but going to the new Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity here in the demo, I was enjoying my time with it. I enjoyed the elements that they've added to it. Yes, I agree that the combat gets kind of samey because it's a hack and slash game. It's a game where your basic idea is that you're going to be taking on hundreds of enemies and you're going to be pushing the same buttons a dozen different times over. But I found that the uniqueness of the runes that they brought them over from Breath of the Wild and they put them into Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity in a unique way where you can actually interrupt enemies' attacks by doing the right rune at the right time and then being able to more or less finish off an enemy through their stun gauge. I found that fascinating and intriguing. The fact that they've lifted the entire art style of Breath of the Wild and put it into a Warriors game is really interesting, and I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed the map elements that you could travel around and give ingredients that you found in the battles to these different places to get boosts to your characters and to unlock the shops. I found all that really interesting.
That was cool. At first, I was like, "Oh, okay," but I don't know. For me, it wasn't enough to keep me entertained, and I was like, "I'm going back to Pikmin."
See, we both agree though that the demo is short, and I did not realize yesterday. I was telling you Zoms, that I had gotten to the end of the demo without realizing it until I went to try and go to the next mission. And it said, no, sorry, you can only play this in the full version. So the demo is very, very short. It's 2 stages and then a few little extra stages with just Link and unlocking a few bonus things, like what I was talking about a minute ago. So the demo is short, but we also were having a discussion about how we would potentially rank buying the game. And you were saying that it was kind of like a what were you saying yesterday, Zoms?
I would probably wait. Unfortunately, though, Switch games, they kind of retain their value. They don't really like go down. I'll go to like a video game retailer, and I'll find the game, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's still up there in price. So I I will probably, if I'm feeling up to it, I may get it like pre-owned. I do know that some places like they give you like a week uh, to play it and stuff like that. And if you don't like it, bring it back or exchange it for another game. Uh, I don't know. We'll see. I may just have to give it more time or more gameplay. But the demo just wasn't doing it for me. Or I'll just come over to your house and I'll just play it on your Switch.
Oh, there you go. Sure, Zoms. I'll let you do that. I actually have my copy pre-ordered because I cannot pass up being able to experience the story and be more into the world of Breath of the Wild. Now, for anybody else that's thinking about it, definitely give the demo a try if you can. If you can't, like Zom said, it is a Warriors game, so you have to be okay with that same action vibe, that hack and slash gameplay. Something I will say for anyone that has played the original Hyrule Warriors game, the battles in Age of Calamity seem to be shorter. I seem to get through the 2 battles at least that were in the demo, and I don't know if it is just the demo, but they seem to be shorter, which anyone that's played the original Hyrule Warriors knows that those battles can range anywhere from a good solid half hour to an hour, depending on how quick you are and able to get through the different objectives because it just keeps spamming objectives at you. Whereas Hyrule Warriors, it was a single stage was like 3 or 4 objectives, I think, and then it was done. At least in the demo, which for me kind of increases my selling point of it. I think that it's it's definitely something that you want to give some thought to before you buy, but I will have it more probably the week after it's released because I pre-ordered it and shipping and everything. But I can give everybody a good heads up about how the game is, what my impressions are at that time. Right now, I'm kind of like a 80-20. 80 for 20 against. 20 kind of wait and see. But okay, I think that does it for what we've been playing this week. So let's go ahead and move on to the news topics. And to start it off, last week it was announced that Xbox is offering a chance to win the Xbox Series X fridge, which
I, I want it.
new oh for anybody that did not see this, Snoop Dogg actually got this huge Xbox Series X fridge from Xbox with an Xbox Series X in it. And well, now you have a chance to win that fridge. It looks interesting, but there again, it is just a fridge. There's no smart screen, so no way to play your Xbox Series games on it. It's just a fridge.
I want it.
And what are you gonna put in it, Zoms?
Uh, Game Fuel.
Oh, there you go. Just what a zombie needs. Next little bit of news. Australian gamers, if there are any Aussies out there listening to this podcast, we are so sorry. But it looks like you're locked out of Switch's cloud based future, possibly. And this actually stems from the Nintendo Direct that we covered in the previous podcast. And also, I'd like to issue a minor correction, as I did not realize it at the time, but Control and Hitman 3 are both cloud based games. So you actually would be playing them remotely on your Switch via the internet. So if you don't have an internet connection, good luck with that. You are completely locked out of these games, especially if your internet connection is not good. But
It sucks not
evidently,
having internet.
uh, Zoms, you have nothing to talk about because you have internet. That's how we're talking right now.
I'm just saying, like I've had to go on without internet for like a couple days, and it's terrible.
At least you survived. But back to this news topic. Evidently, there are not servers in Australia, or at least Control, as at the time of the recording of this podcast. So it looks like there's just no way to play that game in Australia right at the moment, unless possibly maybe a regional workaround. But yeah, if you're living in Australia, then sorry. Next up, we have the Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales game is getting the Spider-Verse suit, which is really interesting. And I don't know, the suit just looks cool.
It does
Honestly,
look pretty cool.
it's a neat little Easter egg that to be able to have that in the game. It's not changing my mind about buying the game because I'm just not getting a PS5 right off the bat. But if you anybody is out there and they're getting this game, let us know what you think of it because it looks cool. It really just looks cool.
I think that the Miles Morales is an amazing character right now, mostly because it's just so different from Peter Parker, and I I love him. I love Miles. The artwork, especially with that movie Into the Spider Verse. That was a great movie. Um, and the music that was with it, the bad guys, the fight scenes, and yeah, I was watching some of the trailers for it, also the game, and just his way of fighting is really cool. They definitely put a lot of thought into it. I definitely recommend Miles Morales for president.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I actually did not get to see Spider Verse, but maybe one day. Maybe one day soon. I know. I have to correct that horrible, horrible sin.
How do you wake up every day and live with yourself?
Generally, when I wake up, I put one foot out of the bed out after the other, and then I stand up.
Hmm.
And I go, oh, hey, it's a new day. Let's get started. In the next piece of news, we have a public service announcement for everyone out there that is buying Xbox games this holiday season. Evidently, Xbox has chosen some rather confusing uh, banners for their boxes. The box art for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has been shown off, and the only distinguishing factors between the Xbox One version and the Xbox Series X version are the Xbox One version has Xbox One written at the top, and the Xbox Series X version has the Series X patch in the upper right corner and says Xbox in the banner. Otherwise, both games work on both systems, both Xbox One and Xbox Series X, And really, the only other difference is that the banner underneath the banner has Xbox Series X first on the Series X version, whereas the Xbox One version has Xbox One first. Otherwise, they both say that they both work on both systems. So, if anybody's out there and has an Xbox One or is getting an Xbox Series X, don't let this confuse you because there are differences between both these versions. The Xbox Series X actually has all the 4K assets and everything on the disc, whereas the Xbox One version doesn't. It has to upscale. So watch out. There is this difference, and please be made aware. It makes me wonder though what other games are going to have this confusing layout to them, or is this what's going to be going forward because they look so similar?
So, are you saying that the Call of Duty, I'm looking at the picture, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, if you purchased it for Xbox Series X, I can play that on my Xbox One?
Yep. Yes, you
Okay.
can. But the better experience is on the Xbox Series X. It's better to buy
Yeah.
the Xbox Series X version than the Xbox One version.
So the graphics are better on the Series X.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
pretty much what a lot of people are wanting is the better graphics, faster stuff, better stuff. I mean, it's just supposed to be an all-around better system, but yeah, I guess I will have to get the Series X for the better graphics.
Yes, most definitely. Next up, a while back, Sony had announced that roughly 10 PS4 games were not going to be playable on the PS5. And it looks like Ubisoft has decided to let us know exactly 9 of those 10 games, as Ubisoft is claiming that the following games will not necessarily be able to be played from your PS4 onto your PS5. Those include Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Chronicles Trilogy Pack, Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, China, and Russia, The Risk Game, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Werewolves Within, and Space Junkies. Now, again, this is 9 titles from Ubisoft that they're saying are more than likely not going to be playable from your PS4 catalog on your new PS5. And because Sony has said previously that only 10 PS4 games would not work on the PS5, and this being 9 of them, makes you wonder what the one more game that won't work on the PS5 from the PS4 is. I find it crazy that Ubisoft listed it out.
Yeah, all from most of them from Ubisoft. I hope that I'll be able to play Kingdom Hearts. I want to be able to play all of them, like just play them all through.
As opposed to just 3 on your Xbox,
Yeah.
as in just the number 3.
Yep.
I you know, Kingdom Hearts is kind of a killer franchise almost for Sony at this point. I kind of doubt that that would not be playable backwards compatible. But there again, that is Square Enix we're talking about. And anything's possible. In another piece of news, going back to Xbox for a minute, evidently The Rock got his hands on an Xbox Series X, of all things. So Xbox Series X's are making it out there to the celebrities, at least.
I mean, it
Maybe
makes me question what they do to get these. Did they simply pay a lot of money for these systems, or like did they do something, make some sort of deal, contract, whatever, with the game system companies, or I don't know, like what could they have done? Or is it that I just have to go to the gym and get super buff like The Rock and move my eyebrow the way that he does? And they'll just want to hand me my own Xbox 2 weeks before it comes out.
I think it has something to do with the fact that you kind of have to be, oh, I don't know, just a little bit famous in order to get these systems. Who knows? Maybe one day, Nerd Break, all of us will get these systems, and then we'll be able to say, hey, we're part of the in crowd.
I think I'm pretty in. So
Sure, Zoms. Sure. I mean, technically, yes, because zombies are in right now. You are part of the in crowd, Zoms.
yeah.
I mean, if the public doesn't adore you, we here at Nerd Break salute you and adore
hmm
you just the same.
I like when I go to like the market or something, especially right now with the pandemic and wearing my face covering and my eyes are showing through and a child stops to stare at me. It's pretty funny.
Do you
I can
ever
see the
say any?
fear in his eyes.
Oh my. Oh my. Moving on, we have a bit of a disappointing piece of news here. Pikmin 3's opening week of physical sales in the UK were lower on the Switch than the Wii U. Now, of course, this is just physical sales. This does not account for digital. But my goodness, people, please, if you're someone that's listening to us in the UK and you have a Switch and you have not bought Pikmin 3, remember this. It has the Nerd Break seal of approval. Go out and buy it, please. We want Pikmin 4. We really
It is
do.
so good. It's I've seen a wide variety of different people who like it. Like get it because it looks cute, or get it if you like puzzle games, or get it if you want to like I like to see all the environment and like see all the detail they put into everything. Um, you get scored at the end of each day for how many Pikmin you lose, and I try to keep that number as small as possible. My goal is 0. I want 0 Pikmin to die on me.
Yeah, I do
I think it's
too,
very
but
possible. I kind of get a little sad when, especially if you end up leaving a Pikmin behind, and I'm just like, where was he at? And the ship takes off, and all the monsters they come and they eat the one lone Pikmin, and I'm like, oops.
well, maybe the monsters should come and eat the physical copies of Switch of Pikmin 3 in the UK. That way it sells better or something. I don't know.
Okay, moving on.
Yes. So, next piece of news, not only is Dragon Quest 11S coming to the PS4, but the creator of Dragon Quest has teased all sorts of announcements for the series coming next year. And it's to coincide with the 35th anniversary of Dragon Quest. Now, I personally have played a few of the games in the series. I'm not big on the series, but I did get Dragon Quest 11S, and I'm hoping to play through it. I just have not had the time. But to have more Dragon Quest games coming, especially if we do get them here in the States, that would be awesome. That would be amazing. We actually did not get the and this will be funny for you, Zoms. We did not get Dragon Quest Warriors 1 and 2, so you did not get that hack and slash Warriors spin-off game for Dragon Quest. So you're safe, buddy.
Okay.
But yeah, Yuji Horii, creator, teased all sorts of announcements for next year for Dragon Quest. So it looks like Square Enix might actually be doing something to celebrate the 35th anniversary. I guess we'll find out more next year. Otherwise, stay tuned and stay tuned to Nerd Break as we cover it when it happens. In the next piece of news, Unofficial, a company was taking pre-orders for unofficial PS5 faceplates, but they had to finally cancel all the orders after Sony threatened them with a lawsuit. First, it was they had to change the name of the company. Now they just had to flat out get rid of all the pre-orders for custom faceplates, which is really sad.
That does
To be
suck.
able, yeah, to be able to change out the faceplate of the PS5 if you don't like white and the color scheme of it would have been interesting, but instead, no, we don't even get the option. It's completely been pulled out from underneath us. Thanks, Sony. Thank you so much.
I don't like the fact that they went through the two steps when they could have just skipped. It's like, hey, change your name. Okay, we changed it. You know what? Don't even sell anything. Fine. They should have just jumped right to it and just like, no, you can't sell this merchandise. Just
Yeah,
make them waste money and time.
it's really mean. Honestly, it really is. I agree. They should just cut to the chase, but they didn't. The story does have a little bit of a happy ending to it, though, as the company is selling decals at the very least. You can buy stickers to customize your PS5, but it's still not the same. As someone that has changed out the shells on the Joy-Con, there's something different about that. Being able to change out faceplates just would be so much nicer.
I put stickers on my system sometimes.
There you go. Next, we have Final Fantasy IX is getting a physical release for the Nintendo Switch. It's not slated here for the United States, but it is slated in other parts of the world, and it's launching on the 27th of November. Now, this follows from last year where Final Fantasy 7 and 8 got a release physically in Asian territories and finally did make it to Europe. But these old games, the Final Fantasy 7, 8, and now 9 getting physical releases on Switch, I love this, but I just wish they would bring them over here to the States. I wish they would come over here so that everyone here could get them. Because these are obviously good classic RPGs, and the more the merrier. I have no problem with importing games. I have not been able to import Final Fantasy 7 and 8, though I've wanted to, but it's more a money issue at the moment, and hopefully one day I will. But nine's getting released, and maybe one day I'll get it.
It's pretty good. I've played it before. That was probably one of my first Final Fantasy games, um, and I really enjoyed it. Steiner, I love him. Just the night he runs around, and every time he runs, he clinks, and his facial expressions that he does, it's just so funny because he's so like he's this big guy. He's supposed to be like strong, whatever, but he gets caught by surprise, or he gets thrown into situations, and it's pretty good.
So, since with that said, do you think that you'll pick up Final Fantasy 9 physically? Import
I
it,
would like to.
possibly? Okay.
I would like to. I think it would be great to go back and play it again. Um, I believe that when that came out, I think it was on the.
It was on the original PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Then
it's quite old.
yeah, it is. It is pretty old. Um, but I mean, again, like I said, it was pretty good. Are they going to update the graphics and stuff on it? Do you know?
It has to be based on the digital version, which the digital version, when I saw it, did not have any updates to the graphics. I think that version was actually based on the PC re-release. I could be wrong, but I think it was based on the PC release. So there were some minor quality of life improvements, like I think you could speed up the battles. I forget what else, but it's pretty much straight PlayStation graphics putting out at full 1080, I believe. I mean, though, the graphics I've seen Final Fantasy 9. I actually have it for my PS3, The graphics aren't terrible. Moving on to the next piece of news, Resident Evil Village, otherwise known as Resident Evil 8, is going all in with the PS5 feature support, evidently being able to take advantage of the haptic triggers and the DualSense Rumble, I think it is.
Whatever to make us feel more like we're in the game. I love Resident Evil. So it's one of my best top series that I recommend. I love it. I'm pretty excited for whenever there's new Resident Evil.
Well, you'll be able to get your scare on in 3D audio too. So you'll be able
Hmm.
to hear the people creeping up from behind you to take your brain for a change, though.
They're sick.
On the next piece of news, we have Microsoft reveals the amount of time that they spent testing each game that is backwards compatible to the Xbox Series for the Xbox Series X and S. And it roughly translated to be like each game they spent roughly 16 to 24 hours testing with approximately 500 people playing games in order to see if the entire back catalog for Xbox worked on the Xbox Series X and S. That is
That
amazing.
sounds boring.
Well, I mean, it depends on how much you like particular games, I guess. If you don't like a game, then yes, it could be very boring and very tedious.
That's like, can you imagine getting one of those games that like nobody likes? This game is like, why would they make this if you have to play it for like 20 hours?
Yeah, that would be really bad. If a game is bad, I don't want to play it. And if I was forced to play it just to test it for this backwards compatibility stuff, I would probably do it very slowly.
But I guess we are getting the questions. I mean, because I know people, including myself, who want to play the original Xbox games, but I don't know. Maybe our system went out or something like that. I don't know. But now I can go back and play these games. Hooray!
Yeah, and there is one thing that I can say about this. Someone did this so you wouldn't have to.
Hmm.
In
So
the
our appreciation goes out towards you, testers. Thank you for doing what I would hate to do.
Yes. So we here at Nerd Break salute you with a big Nerd Break thumbs up. I do a thumbs up and Zom salutes and gives a thumbs up. There you go. The Nerd Break salute. One big thumbs up from each of us. In another piece of news, the PS5 as well as the Xbox Series X are both coming with an HDMI 2.1 cable in the box, meaning that you can output your games on these consoles at 120 frames per second right out of the box. If the game, of course, is compatible with it and you have a compatible TV. The fact that they're doing this, putting that kind of a cable in the box, is you don't have to go out and buy another one or go buy one in general right off the bat, is a good move. This is pro consumerism right there, to be able to do that, because so many people already have 4K TVs anyways, that in some cases they're relatively cheap. And to be able to do that, to do that is just a good move.
Do you have a 4K TV, Joseph?
No, I do not.
Oh,
I'm probably one of like 3 people left in the entire United States that doesn't.
I don't know. I think that number is a little bigger.
Yeah, probably. But in one last piece of news that will also transition over to our anime segment, Sony is trying to buy, or rather is finalizing the buy of Crunchyroll, which goes also to their big monopoly of anime, where they also own Funimation and Aniplex. So the fact that they're buying Crunchyroll is just, well, it's turning them into a monopoly. Crazy.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't watch a lot of I don't watch anime, unfortunately.
Oh, we
So
know.
yes.
We know.
But I've heard a lot of good things about Crunchyroll. So having Sony buy them out just kind of makes me wonder.
How is that going to affect everybody? Where else are we going to get our anime from now? Is it going to be bad? I don't know.
I know where we can get the anime from. Your house.
Everybody just go to my house and we'll watch the anime.
See? There you go. But Zoms, would you like to hit us with all the fun anime news this week?
Let me see. I would love to, Joseph the Broseph. Anime. The Demon Slayer movie did amazing. I'm constantly seeing a lot of news about it. I thought Japan was closed off to people visiting, but I think what happened was people went to go visit and purposely got stuck in Japan for the quarantine. I don't know what happened because I had seen people posting pictures of like their tickets and stuff like that, and I'm just like, you lucky people.
What is the Demon Slayer movie about?
The Demon Slayer movie, it basically takes place in olden day Japan, where you use swords and stuff. Um, I don't remember the specific era that if they had mentioned it, but it's people and they're yokai demons running around, and there's the Demon Slayer Corps, where they pretty much is it's like a whole organization of humans who slay the demons, and they have special swords. They go through training, stuff like that, and they slay them. The main character, though, stumbles across his. He leaves home. He's got his whole family. His dad is passed away, but it's his mother and his brothers and sisters. And so he leaves to go into town. Their home is like in the woods. It's during the snowy season. He comes home and everybody's massacred. But his sister, Nezuko, Team Nezuko, she um, she actually is a demon, but she retains like her mental state in a way, and she does not kill her brother. At first, she tries to, but eventually, she comes to terms with herself. He defends her, and so she then becomes part of the demon slaying corps through after a test, of course. But it's great. There's a manga. I would recommend it. I had heard that it's got some issues with the ending in the manga. I believe they said the manga ended. I do not follow the manga, but it's great. I recommend it. People seeing the anime, hopefully the anime will end better than the manga.
Hopefully it'll all come over here with the movie too.
Actually, the movie comes to the U.S. theaters February 4th of
Oh wow.
2021. At least that's
That's awesome.
that's the goal.
That's the cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully we aren't in quarantine then.
yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully, the president will personally fight coronavirus in Japan, just to take off his shirt and start swinging at it. Can only hope. I hope they televise it.
Maybe that's where The Rock comes in,
Oh,
and
maybe
he'll
that's
be
how he was
swinging.
able to get his his copy early, his console. Black Clover has reached 150 episodes as of yesterday, so that was pretty cool. I love that anime. I think I've mentioned this before, but the best way I can describe Black Clover would be if you got Naruto, but instead of the Hokage, it's the Wizard King. Instead of ninja powers, it's wizard powers, and you replace Naruto with Rock Lee, and you got Black Clover. That's the best way I could describe it. It's this magicless guy, but he's super strong because he works out all the time. I mean, he's a kid. I believe he's like 16, 17, something like that. And he beats the hell out of everybody with his muscles.
You comparing the main character of that with Rock Lee, and me knowing Rock Lee because I saw the first story arc of Naruto, first two story arcs I think of Naruto, just made me think that that anime had to be terrible.
You didn't like Naruto?
Well, I like Naruto, but Rock Lee was pretty much the butt of the joke.
Rock Lee's great, man. Everybody loves Rock Lee.
Well, I like Rock Lee, but
Yeah,
poor guy just can't win.
he does. He does.
It must be later in the series after I stopped watching.
Yeah, Rock Lee is pretty cool. I mean, like his eyebrows are on fleek. Love it. And his taijutsu, he just, you know what? I'm just gonna punch him in the face, and then yeah, he goes and punches the person in the face, and he wins. You know what? He's that he just takes a shortcut right there. Good job. I love it.
Now I'm gonna go one step further and say that starts to sound like One Punch Man.
That's a little different, but yeah, One Punch Man. I love that anime.
One punch and you're done.
Yeah, one and done. He's great. Actually, that's where my sleeping mask is from. It's his face
That's
or
what
his
that
eyes.
was.
Yeah,
That's what that is.
yeah, just his dull eyes. Yeah, I love it. But actually, speaking of Naruto and everything, another series still going. Boruto. It's Naruto: The Next Generations. It was kind of weird at first, but I liked it. Especially what kept me intrigued is to see the children of the Naruto people, and you're seeing like who the who the parents are and what's been going on with the families and the skills. Baruto does right away do the shadow clone jutsu. He can only do like so many clones. I believe it's like 4 clones, something like that. Can do the Rasengan, and you do see the child of Sasuke. She's pretty cool too. She's learning. Actually, all for her at this moment, and you see the struggles, and you see how bad of parents a lot of the characters are. I'm like, oh, okay. It's definitely worth watching. I think so. I got hooked. I think I watched like 16 episodes in one day. I was like, oh my goodness, I just made a day out of it.
Shoot, you're going to have to share with me. We're gonna have to sit down and have a binge watch of Boruto together.
Yeah, you definitely got to see it. See how many are on there.
You know, you were talking about how Naruto is potentially a bad parent, but I would remind anybody that Naruto didn't have any parents.
That's they do mention that. Yeah, I think that a lot of things could be solved in a lot of not just anime but shows if the characters would simply just communicate. But what do I know? That or
I
that
don't
would
know. What
probably
do
just
you
like
know?
end that would just end the show probably. let's let's just be smart. Okay, everything's solved in the first episode.
Yes, we all can't walk around being highly intelligent. Otherwise, there would be no fun.
Mhm. Mhm. I would be a terrible supervillain because I would just be the smartest supervillain, and you know, no talking, just end stuff right then and there. Just give me that gun, just stuff like that. Um, I would be very successful. Your face is
Was
Funny.
there anything else for the anime news there, Zoms?
Nope, that's it for anime.
Okay,
Believe it.
believe it. Well, I guess that does it for this week's podcast. Unless you have anything else to add, Zoms?
The Mandalorian.
Oh, yes. We
That's
forgot about
the
that.
new season started. I saw episode 1. It was great and disappointing at the same time.
Should you go into spoilers or not?
I probably should not. I'll wait until next week.
Okay,
Nerd break.
there we go.
Cue the ending music.
We don't
Everybody
have
dance.
we don't have ending music.
If you would like to make ending music for Nerd Break, please send it to our email. Joseph the Brosive will personally fly out to watch a performance by you, or just send in the sound clip.
Please
Yeah,
note that Joseph is not a talent scout. Joseph has no money to pay anybody for said music, and neither does Zoms.
speak for yourself.
Okay, but thank you everyone so much for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this podcast a like, drop a comment if you want in the comments section, or better yet, send us an email. Send us your listener mail to nerdbreakpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what you think. Send it to any one of us. We'll respond, possibly read it in the next podcast. But thank you so much for listening on behalf of myself and Zoms.
Hey, it's me, Zoms.
Supposed to be by Zoms. When are you
Oh,
going to get that
bye.
right? Thanks for
Bye, it's
listening.
me, Zoms.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Just a quick thing for anybody who does watch The Mandalorian. John Leguizamo